Hey, it's Rachel from All About Planners. In this video I'm doing a review of the ParKoo pens. So they have two types. There is the gel pen and then the erasable pens. So disclaimer, I did receive a copy of these pens for free in exchange for this review. However, I actually already owned the erasable pens before ParKoo sent them to me. So I have actually used them for a while anyway, but hopefully that will add to my review, like whether they're good or not. Okay, so let's start with my favorite ones of the two. I actually like the gel pens better than the erasable. So let's have a look at the gel pens. Look at those really nice colors. So a few things to note. You can actually see the yellow, which does not happen very often with pens. Usually it's so washed out you can't even read what you've written. However, you actually can for the yellow in this pen pack, so that's already a plus. There is also this really pretty pink. I'm a sucker for a pink pen because that's what I tend to use for color coding stuff for my blog in my planner. So I always use pink pens. The other thing is you get two shades of blue. You've got the light blue and dark blue. Now in the pack, I'll just show you here, there's two greens, the light and then the darker one, and then there's this color here which I thought was a teal, hence why this says teal here. However, as you can see, it actually ended up being more like a green. It doesn't look teal. So if that had been a teal color in the pack, I think it would be a perfect array of colors. You do still get 14 colors anyway, but I do think those are kind of too similar to really be called a different color. But yeah, they're nice and bright and colorful. And then if I just show you the ghosting and the bleed through, so where there is any, so no bleed through, which is great. There is a little bit of ghosting. This is my plum paper notebook, by the way, and I always use this notebook for pen testing because I feel like this paper quality is really like mid-range. It's not brilliant, but it's not crappy. It's like average kind of that you can expect in most planners. That's why I always do all my pen testing in that notebook. So as you can see, a little bit of ghosting on those, but yeah, no bleed through, so pretty good. Also, they come in this little carry case, so you can store them easily, and they are 0.7mm pens, and then this just closes up, and then you can conveniently store it for later. So, after the gel pens are the erasable gel pens. So, you know I'm a lover of erasable pens. If you've seen my blog, I use them all the time. Erasable pens are the only type of pen I will use for bullet journaling. I don't use any other pens. I like the option to be able to erase, so hence why I already own these erasable gel pens here. So if you haven't seen erasable gel pens before, I'll just show you like quickly how they work. I'm just going to do this one-handed, sorry, so it might be a bit awkward because I'm holding the camera with the other. So you just write whatever you want to write. Blah, blah, blah. Now I'm actually right-handed, hence why it's a bit awkward as well. But anyway, so you do your usual writing and then you just erase it with friction. Again, it's actually a lot quicker and better when I use my right hand. I'm just holding my camera with that hand. So as you can see, it erases quite cleanly and there is no bleed through on the other side, and there is, I reckon, less ghosting than the gel pens, which kind of makes sense because as you can see here, the colors are a bit lighter with erasable pens. Now, the reason I mentioned earlier that I prefer the gel pens to these erasable ones is simply the colors. So you can see the difference in the pink here versus the pink of a gel pen. The colors are much more vibrant on the gel pens for this brand, and I know these ones look a little I guess like sort of washed out, but that is pretty typical of erasable gel pens. They all tend to have this kind of dullish colors. But I will say that this pen brand, the ParKoo ones, I do think they're a bit more prone to skipping. So if I just zoom in a bit, see how the ink kind of like skips a bit and it's not like super vibrant the whole way through. Yeah, it is a bit more prone to the ink skipping. These little like white lines on it, but they do write really smoothly. So if you're looking for some affordable erasable pens, these could be a good option. Just another thing to note, this brand, again, so if you have a look at all the colors in the pack, you think there's a light green and a dark green, right? So this here is actually the dark green. It comes out more of like a turquoise. Now don't get me wrong, I love turquoise. I actually would prefer turquoise. I just find it a little misleading that on the packet it looks like it's a green pen. I do really love the pink and the purple. There are 3 shades of blue. Not sure if you actually need 3 shades of blue, but it's actually probably better when I think about it because there's no yellow. So yellow would probably be really washed out and you can't see it. So they've just gone and included another blue instead. So there's like a navy, dark blue, sort of like a medium blue, and then this one, which I don't really think it's a light blue. It's more of like another shade of a medium blue as well. Anyway, so that is the ParKoo erasable pens. Now these ones are refillable and they're in that like clicker style, like that, with just like a normal sort of ballpoint pen type tip on them, and you get a case for these as well to store them in. And I don't think I showed the end of the gel pens, so just show you quickly. I will have photos, which are obviously going to be better than me awkwardly doing this one-handed with my camera. They'll be linked in the blog post below. So that's these ones. You can see they just have like a normal sort of pen tip on them, and they are also the clicker style as well. So I much prefer the clicker style to a pen with a lid, because I always lose the lid, or the lid ends up on the floor, or I drop it, etc. Whereas the clicker, you can just obviously retract it, and I think that they end up lasting longer when they're retractable than the pen lid. I don't know why, but I just find that pens like that tend to, like those Papermate Inkjoy gels, they're retractable and they last ages. So I think it's just the sort of style, or maybe that's just what I've found, in my personal opinion. Anyway, so that is it for the ParKoo pen review. I will have linked to the blog post, which will have the photos if you wanted to have a closer look at the ghosting as well, and then, yeah, the gel pens. So those links will be below. Don't forget to subscribe. I usually post a couple of planner review videos each week on my blog, and the button is below.